All right, we are live on this week's edition of the Halftime Hits, brought to you by Broadway Sports Media. As always, you can check out all of our great content at BroadwaySportsMedia.com. I am joined by my co-host of the Coach's Corner podcast, Ryan. You can see him at Ryan on Broadway on Twitter, and as always, you can find me at JB on Broad on Twitter. So we will dive right in here. Ryan, what are your thoughts on that first half, especially from the offense? We see the Titans are down 14-10, get the ball back at halftime. What are your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts, once again, just like the Colts game, start off hot, looking real good, nice and spicy on offense. Good balance for the game. Hits. I really loved early how they were mixing in some leak outs, some blocks, some chips to leak out to Batson and one to Jonnu Smith. The touchdown was one of those. Jonnu caught another one. So I loved how they were easing Tannehill back in the game, getting his confidence. Tannehill was sharp early, and then it all kind of fell apart on offense when you had the missed stunt from the offensive line. The Ravens had walked up a stunt outside of Nate Davis, backed him off real quick at the snap, delayed blitz out of the middle linebacker that went right around Jones, and Davis is left there not blocking anyone. So miscommunication there from Jones and Davis to not shift over and get that, and stuck Tannehill right in the chest as he's letting it go. Interception, and then Tannehill wasn't the same after that. So you kind of had a turning point there. You saw him kind of get back a little bit there, but then you had drops. So just very inconsistent on offense, which was a much different way than the defense, in my opinion, to start this game.
Yeah, the offense, it's one of those that, again, like you said, they came out hot there, but it seems to be a one guy after the other that's failing in some sort of capacity. I know Tannehill obviously had the panic throw that he threw. There was the missed throw to Corey Davis. I'm not sure that actually was a Tannehill thing. I think Corey Davis should have set that route down and read the zone on that one. But there's also been plenty of other opportunities that Tannehill has missed on some things. So and when you have guys that have an opportunity to pick up your quarterback who's not having a great spot or having a great game, they're not making the tough catches. So that's where you can't have everybody having a down game. That's where you're going to struggle to overcome anything like that. But overall, I think that, it's something where the Titans are still able to move the ball. The opportunities are there. They just got to kind of take a deep breath and come back out. They get the ball back here. It's going to be a huge first drive for this Titans offense to make sure they get back to some of those scripted plays where they can, we always talk about manufactured pressure on defense. You can manufacture yards on offense to an extent. They're having to do some things and keeping some guys in to chip on Ngakoue, chip on the other side, and help Kelly out with some of these receivers. But the Ravens are adjusting to that as well, and the Ravens definitely have adjusted where you saw them. They were getting gouged on the ground by Henry early on. They've adjusted to somehow how they were playing some of those plays. So, again, can't put enough emphasis on how big this opening drive is going to be for the offense.
Real quick surprise of the day is Aaron Brewer getting the start at left guard. And I just want to address that real quick because I saw a lot of pregame, like, why is this happening with the Titans? Well, my simple answer is this. Ben Jones was also hurt this week, and you don't know how long he's going to go in this game. Jamil Douglas is your backup center. I don't think they want to risk injuring Douglas to come in center because I'm not sure who would come in after that. It's my only thing I can think of right. They were equally okay with Brewer at guard as Douglas, but also what tipped the factor over to Brewer starting was probably Douglas being the backup center as well. So he's backing up two positions. Pretty important on a day when your starting center missed all week in practice. And real quick on the question, how do you help out Sombrella? I think you've got to go back to some chips and give some looks because Ngakoue's kind of eating his lunch there, especially in the first half there, second quarter. So you got to go back to those kind of things. I don't necessarily agree with switching Kelly back over and then putting Wilson in. Maybe if he gets real bad injury, obviously there's some things there. Q's still there as well that can come in the game as well. But I think that's playing with a lot of fire, putting Dennis Kelly over to left tackle when he's been doing so well at right tackle. Kind of leave him there, give him some help with some chips and things. So sorry, I saw those two comments. Just want to comment on those real quick.
Well, and it's one of those, if you haven't been practicing it, making that switch mid-game, that's tough to do. So I don't see
it better if it was during practice and they had some time in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, look, and it's also another thing where, people have been talking about, is Tannehill's regression going to happen? And it's one of those, the book seems to be out on what the Titans like to do on offense, and that's those play action deep chunk routes. I'd like to see the Titans adjust on offense a little bit, and what can help out your tackles is getting the ball out a bit sooner. And so they did get a play there where they put Jonnu Smith in the backfield and let him run into the flat, because that's what the Ravens are doing. They're dropping everything back and daring you to throw underneath. The Titans need to take what's being given to them and make that your run game moving forward, in my opinion. So obviously short show. Let's pivot over to the defense, and what are your thoughts on what you're seeing there?
So came out with an edge with chippiness that I think they knew they were going to be down playing with, obviously the Clowney IR news playing down a little bit, but they came out hot and they came out with the fire and really good job. Let's not sell this short. Really good job of forcing the Ravens to kick 2 field goals while in the red zone, but getting down there, especially after the turnover, the interception for the short field to then make the Ravens. And I think that they're doing a pretty good job stymieing Lamar Jackson's run outs. They seem like they're spying a little extra tension, which is why Dobbins is having some success. Plus Dobbins has a little more burst than the rest of the Ravens running backs and is giving them little fits. When it's traditional runs, though, I think they're doing a good job. They just need to get back to stopping those on first down, making then the Ravens call from behind the sticks. So when they were given, like a 2nd and 6 and then a 3rd and 3, that's when they were in trouble. And I know they had a 3rd and long that was conversion as well, but that's one play. Outside of that, they've been pretty good on some of the long distance stuff and all that. So I'm pretty happy with their effort. Kind of slipped a little towards the end of the half. And I'd like to see them get back that chippiness and really have that block on the shoulder. Maybe get back out and try to start another fight and let Butler lead the way for you.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, I think, is overall playing well. I think you had a mental lapse by Joshua Kalu on a big 3rd down conversion, which let the Ravens keep marching down the field. That was just, frankly, just a terrible play by Kalu. He's got deep middle responsibilities and gets pulled when there's a clear threat coming down the middle of the field. That's just terrible safety play. Right. But, I mean, look, there's a reason he's the number 4 safety on this team. You're going to get those kinds of things. Titans have played a little bit with fire on some deep passes that that Lamar has been late on, but look, Lamar has not done a ton of great things, and they're definitely keying on him. We talk about a little bit why Dobbins is having such an impact. Look, when you have a quarterback like Lamar, you have to account for him in the run game, obviously. And so if you have to stay in your responsibility, making sure that he is giving the ball, that splits half a second with somebody that has the burst of Dobbins. Dobbins doesn't have the down the field kind of speed where he's going to run away from you, but he's very quick in a phone booth, as we like to say. So that little bit of a difference is one of those where Dobbins is kind of the X factor right now. And I saw the comment like, yeah, they keep pulling Dobbins. You have to wonder if they're going to continue that if you're the Ravens, because as of right now,
good Lord.
Yeah, he is the best player on the field whenever they're out there. And so you keep giving him the ball if I'm the Ravens. And if you're the Titans, you're going to have to start to kind of key on him. But you got to be careful about that, especially with Jayon Brown being injured here, losing some athleticism there.
It looks like he's done. That was a nasty way to fall. Now, how dirty was the hit? I saw that comment come up. It's obviously it was enough to get flagged. It was clipping. David Long is on the COVID list apparently, so I'm not sure who comes in if someone could help out there. But this is already kind of a beleaguered and banged up linebacker crew going from there. And here's the thing with that hit on the pointer, the fall was what did it. The linebacker's trying to cut him, and if he gets just a different positioning, it's fine. But where he hit him was obviously bad, so it's just a tough break for the Titans right there.
Yeah, so kind of overall thoughts on the defense. Defense, I see the comment here. Defense is better without Clowney. Look, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I do think that this is going to raise some questions about one. Breon Borders is playing well. What took so long for him to get on the field? I mean, it's going to raise some questions. And two, it's one of those that the outside linebacker? Sorry. Roberson, sorry. Yeah, mental lapse here. Roberson is playing well enough that, again, what took so long for him to get on the field? So it's one of those that going in, defense just got to stay home, keep doing what you're doing, but offense has to get together. I think the X factor is really going to come down to can Tannehill take that deep breath and just take the easy passes. He doesn't need to carry this team, in my opinion. Just take the easy layups that the defense is giving you.
I agree. That's part of my halftime adjustments for them is they've got to keep pounding the rock with Henry because they're very positive plays. They have to be able to get Tannehill some confidence, get some of those chip throws in there as well. Get Batson back involved. He seemed to have some spark early. You have to give Sombrero some help on the edge and then have to find success in this first drive in the second half to get points.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of other things that came out. My one final thought here before we wrap up is there's a lot of heat on Craig Aukerman last week. I 100% have more heat on him this week because the kickoff return team and their blocking scheme is absolutely horrendous. You brought up Cam Batson, and Cam Batson doesn't have necessarily, fake punt maybe. That's awesome. He ran the fake punt, but maybe if you could just execute some basic functionality on a kickoff return or just, let the ball go through the end zone. Just coach the easy yards. Just starting on the 15 too many times here. So we'll go ahead and wrap up here. Obviously, I think a lot of these kind of things are going to, like we've said, this first drive is going to be key to this game. So check us out at Broadway TN on Twitter, BroadwaySportsMedia.com. You can check out my co-host Ryan at Ryan on Broadway, myself at JB on Broad. And hey, got lots of cool merch on the new shop at BroadwaySportsMedia.com. We got hats, we got shirts, we got lots of cool stuff. So make sure you check that out as well. And make sure you check out the post game, as always, for the rapid reaction. Thanks, everybody.
See you then.